What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Sticks on a Monday. DJ, Buck, and Baldy. Baldy, first of all, where the heck were you yesterday?
I was in the jungle, Cincinnati, watching Detroit just roll the way they have been rolling, and then just watching, horrible quarterback play from Jake Browning to the point where, me and you and Bucky, we could sit here and we could draw up plays to get, Jamar Chase the ball. It didn't happen until really the fourth quarter. It's just amazing. So, yeah, it was just it was just one of those games you better have some material to fill because it was really ugly till the end.
That's a rough one. Buck, you have a big one tonight. That's where you're joining us remotely. You've got the Chefs. It's the Jags welcoming in the Kansas City Chiefs. So you got a big one tonight, buddy.
Yeah, big one. Excited. The buzz around the city, you can feel there's a lot of excitement. Chiefs fans come in droves. And so the last time the Jags had like one of these premier games, it didn't go well because Jake Browning and Cincinnati Bengals tore them up 2 years ago on a Monday night. So this is a chance for them to acquit themselves a little better when the world has the opportunity to see them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that game, man. We're going to rip through some of these games here and hit it from some different angles. Let's start first of all, Sunday nighter. How about this for a little upset special? New England, Buffalo, Patriots go into Buffalo and win 23-20, Baldy. What'd you see?
Well, the very first play of the game, Drake May, throws it to Stephon Diggs, and he gets the first down, and then they just kept feeding him. He looked as good as he's looked in 2 or 3 years, but they just do a good job of balancing it up. Will Campbell is a really good player, had a good game against Joey Bosa and Epinesa out there. They run it with three backs. They run it with Stevenson. They run it with Henderson. They run it with Gibson. They throw it to those. They really use their backs. And, Drake May made a couple plays in that game that kind of reminds you of Josh Allen, including, as he's going to the ground, and he gets the ball out to Diggs, that final drive to get the game-winning field goal. Drake May stands tall in the pocket. He's mobile without looking to always run and take off, as some of these guys are in this league. But he looks like a real general out there. But that was impressive. That was impressive offensively, how they balanced things up and, moved the ball when they had to. But I thought Diggs was really strong. And then Hunter Henry keeps finding, I don't know how many years Hunter's been in this league, but he finds those spaces in the middle of the field for the jump balls. But he can still go get it, with the best of them right now.
What's interesting about this, I love all the stuff that you had to say about the Tar Heel Drake May. I just wish I could just put that in a little bottle and just keep that when I hear you just waxing poetic.
Nice to see your school's allowed to actually post about that now.
It's fine.
That was off.
I'm focused about the league right now. I'm not worried about the college stuff. But I will say this. Drake May is another example, I think, of kind of what we learned from Josh Allen. Because his college tape wasn't perfect, but it was more the projection of what he could be. But a lot of that projection should have been based on the person. And I think what you're seeing is the person, the leader, the connector comes out. Going back to last week when he, in Charlotte, paid Cam Newton a shout out when he scored. Like he has some swag to him that a lot of people don't know. And I think that came to the forefront. But to me, when I talk about the Patriots, this is a Mike Vrabel game. This is the classic, we're going to ugly the game up. We'll do whatever we need to do to get out of there with the win. And the Bills played into their hands because the self-inflicted mistakes it's ugly ball when you play the Patriots with Mike Vrabel. And if you're not on your A game, they'll snatch it in the fourth quarter, much like they did on Sunday night.
That's true, Bucky. But for the first time in literally 5 years, the Patriots actually have real personnel. They have real running backs. They have real receivers, a tight end, a quarterback that actually can deliver. It's been a long time. It's been a long drought going back to Belichick's last 2 years before they could put a team around a quarterback and actually drive the field and look like, a real NFL team.
That was impressive, man. I went back through all Drake's stuff and, the stuff that was on time. He was on time, back foot, ball gone. Then he went through a little bit of an uneasy phase in this game, and then they kind of got it back rolling again. He's under center a lot, which I love. You watch a bunch of stuff this week. There's a bunch of teams that seem like they're getting under center a little bit more, which was good to see. They moved the pocket with him, knowing they're going to have to deal with some of the pass rush stuff. The Hunter Henry, he had 2 grabs between 4 guys. So you want to talk about finding space like that? I don't know. He just finds that little void, and those are not easy throws. So I thought, young quarterbacks, a lot of times you get the live arm guys, but there were some touch throws, some up and down throws that he made that were big time impressive in that game. The scramble stuff with Diggs, they were on the same page with all that. By
the way, DJ, when you get to the scramble drill, there's a couple guys in this league that when they see the quarterback in trouble, they want the ball more than anybody on the field. It's just like a separate skill. Like I saw Jamar Chase yesterday, Diggs. There's a few guys that when that quarterback's in trouble, they're getting the ball. Nobody else they're getting the ball. They're going to find it. And I thought, the big scramble to Diggs for 30, that was a huge play. He got his feet down and Drake, was able to get it out. But, there's just certain guys in this league. They want to get into the vision of the quarterback. Yeah,
the worst thing you can do from a quarterback standpoint is just be static. Like, I'm moving, you need to be moving. And there's all the scramble rules. Everybody knows about those. But I'm telling you, that's not universal. When you watch some of these games, these guys, some of these scrambles, the receivers have no idea what to do. They don't give a picture at all to the quarterback. Yep. That Diggs recognition and then abort and was immediate. Like that was.
Well, he immediately did a little twirl,
wheeled out,
and it's like I'm going to go get to the sideline here.
Yep, it was that was big time. One of my takeaways from the week overall, just going through all this stuff, was you can tell the teams that are good on that stuff on the scramble. The other thing, the biggest takeaway for me for the whole week as we go through these games. You can tell the teams that have a plan for pressure and those that don't. It's coming. Everybody's going to get heated up in this league because we've got exotic looks. We've got a defensive line talent advantage over an offensive line talent in this league. So you better have a plan, and it better be, crisp, and you better be on your dotting your I's and crossing your T's. Some teams, they get blitzed. It's like a surprise party, and they have no idea how to handle it. But the scramble drill and having a plan there, I thought was pretty interesting.
I thought in that game too, the Patriots now have a true I formation with the kid. I think it's Jack Westover, number 37. And, he was a lead blocker in some plays, but they run that scissors play where he goes one way and then the back goes the other. They scored a touchdown on it, and they came back to it like 3 times in the game. And it got, those linebackers are reading the fullback, and they just start flowing. And it just clears things out to the point where that last touchdown they scored, honestly, Hunter Henry had nobody to block. Everybody went with the fullback. It's classic Josh McDaniels and 2-back offense. And, Vrabel's going to subscribe to that.
I love that. Buck, go ahead.
The last thing I was going to say is, the thing about Stephon Diggs coming over, and it's what we saw with him kind of accelerating development of Josh Allen. There's something to be said for having that veteran receiver that is reliable, dependable, trustworthy in the passing game, where that guy knows I always can find the completion if I go to him. And I thought Stephon Diggs' comments after the game, where he really was giving Drake May his flowers because the comparisons were coming, Josh Allen, Drake May. And he was like, hey, there's some of that stuff, obviously, but you want to make sure that Drake May is Drake May because he has his own special qualities they want to acknowledge. I just feel like just the maturity that he showed there and whatever he shows in the building, there's some kind of synergy and connection that he makes with young quarterbacks that helps them kind of grow. It may only be a 2 or 3 year window, but it certainly has proven true first with Josh Allen. And now it looks like with Drake May.
No doubt. And this is, again, think about Josh McDaniels. It's impressive what he's done there. He looks like vintage Josh McDaniels with how he's dialing up. All right. Denver, Philly. Buck, why don't you jump first on this one?
Okay, so there's a saying that the squeaky wheel gets the grease, but sometimes you need to resist giving the wheel the grease because the Philadelphia Eagles in that game, that was an appease A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith game. And look, for a team that has been as successful as they've been, I'm watching the game and being like, why are they throwing the ball so much? This is not who they are. Yep. And so the thing about it, when you appease players, because players are just like your kids, after the game when they lose, they still bellyache about not winning. So you can't please them. I just want to see the Eagles play like the Eagles. They need to run the football. They need to pass as a compliment and really stick to the formula that has really helped them be a dominant team. The A.J. Brown stuff and Devonta Smith stuff is more the distraction, and all it will do is take them down a wayward path that will not end up in a Super Bowl appearance.
Well, to that point, Saquon had 1 carry in the fourth quarter when they couldn't put a drive together. 1 carry in the fourth quarter. This guy ran, he broke records last year. 1 carry in the fourth quarter. So, that's to your point, Bucky. Like they're doing exactly what you said. And then nothing I mean, DJ, you have spoken to this at times, but nothing is on time in that offense. Nothing. Like there is no timing. It's actually alarming when you watch, especially if you're just watching this and all these other games and you're seeing Baker and, all these guys, Drake, and throw these things on. Like there's nothing on time. And as an offensive lineman, nothing. Like I played with Randall Cunningham. I loved Randall. But that Randall only threw the ball when the receiver was looking at him. There was no anticipation. There wasn't a knock on Randall. He had a great arm. And when he threw it, he whistled it. But it reminds me a little bit of that. And as an offensive lineman, you're like, how long are we supposed to hold these blocks against Nick Benito, against Zach Allen? And that's, they're getting sacks because they're holding the ball for 6-7 seconds. It's ridiculous.
I looked at Benito's sacks. The first one I just wrote coverage sack, like right. It was just kind of a garbage coverage sack. The second one, the communication with Toth was not good on a little game that they ran, so he got kind of crossed up there. And then the last one was kind of a slow loss to Mailata, where he powered him, but it was not a quick win. And as an offensive lineman in the league ball, it's just don't lose quick. They didn't lose quick, like they kind of lost slow, but eventually you run out of time. So. That was the kind of Benito thing. That's 6 sacks overall as a group. I wanted to go quickly, Buck, to the other side. Cortland Sutton had 8 for 99 in this game. I looked up the numbers. He's on pace for 1,241 yards and 10 touchdowns. Had 1,000 yards last year. And I was texting with you guys he might be one of the most underrated receivers. He's been good for a long time.
He went after
Quinyon Mitchell. Yeah, and Quinyon Mitchell was with him a bunch. There's a couple times where he's in the slot where he just kind of posts up in the zone, but there was a lot of wins down the field. Actually, one of the first target he got is a go ball down the sideline. He dropped where he got on top of Quinyon immediately and didn't haul it in. But he's physical at the top, working back. They killed him with back shoulders. Even like some deep curl stuff. To me, for a bigger guy, he gets back down the stem pretty good. Like he's pretty efficient in his movement and doing that stuff. And I wrote down in my notes, kind of gave me, just watching him, and I think we might even have made this comp when he was coming out, but gave me like some Brandon Marshall vibes.
And I would say this, he's become a more physical player in the league than he was when he was coming out. Because remember, he was a big player, but he kind of was, he had a big body, but he played real finesse in his approach. He's become a more physical player on the perimeter and using his size to post up and do that. Same observation that you had. Man, he was giving Quinyon Mitchell, who is one of the emerging top corners in the league, he was giving him the business very, very early. And it was part of a plan. And this is why we talk about coaching, but man, there's just a thing when you have great coaches, guys that are schemers and tacticians and understand, that was a Sean Payton, Vance Joseph game. Like they were on their game against the Eagles. The way Sean Payton controlled the game, the way that he kind of forced the issue when they went for 2. And I was like, whoa, what is this? But he's like, I'm a control fake. I'm going to make them react to us. Just all of it. And then the way that the tempo of the game, it was a Broncos game from the start. Even though they were behind, it still felt like the Broncos kind of had the game on their terms. Look, a credit to everything. Their personnel is solid, but really Sean Payton and Vance Joseph, they both do a masterful job of using the talent and the tactics to put the game in their favor.
And the other thing was that was a short week. They played Monday night and travel. Like all those factors that some people might be using as some kind of an excuse if they don't play well. And they got off to a sluggish start, but man, they that defense is just what they do. It's really they play so many coverages behind that front right now, and they have 5 different guys that can win on one-on-one. I thought Lane Johnson just shut out Cooper over on one side, but I thought the other guys, really handled things pretty good up front. And to just see the Eagles just completely get away from who they are. To your point, Bucky, like that's pretty shocking, actually.
Yeah, no question. They had a chance to put that game away and didn't do it. All right, let's get to the game of the day. Tampa Bay, Seattle. These are 2 of the better teams in the league, both playing at a very high level, aided by quarterbacks and receiver combinations that have been electric. You think about the connection with Sam and Baker, teammates together for the Carolina Panthers. That's insane when you think about that.
Give me your notes, DJ, on what you had on Ibuka coming out. Yeah. Like he just slides through everything. Like he's so smooth in everything that he does.
All right, Baldy. Strong physical receiver with the ability to play inside or out. Quick in his release, he can fight his way through press. I thought he was more of a one-speed route runner, but he's comfortable working in traffic. He attacks the ball in the air in the middle of the field. On vertical routes, he tracks the ball extremely well, has a knack for utilizing late hands to prevent defenders from playing the pocket and poking the ball away, has a great feel working in zones and adjusting his route if the play is prolonged. After the catch, more toughness than pure speed to create extra yards. He's earned rave reviews from NFL teams for the knowledge and leadership he's shown when they've met with him overall. Here's the kicker. Overall, I view Ibuka as an impact slot in the mold of former Buckeye Jackson Smith and Jigba. So they shared the field with him. They both tore the other team apart. But he's so nuanced. I'll pull up my note just from this game, just off of him in this game. Slot, he play inside, he play outside. He's so fluid and smooth. Wins on a whole shot. Lots of you see skinny posts. You see a deep post. He's got unbelievable feel and zone. Like he's just got the awareness and instincts of somebody who's been playing a heck of a lot longer than he's played, Buck.
Here's the thing that I would say about both of those guys, because it was funny. When you look at the guys that played around them, there's more maybe flash and sizzle. But both of those guys, I think you could put at the end of your report, just a pro. Like they just play the game like seasoned veterans, pros, high IQ players, skill route runners. They can do their job, and they have the versatility that every offensive coordinator wants in at least one receiver, being able to play inside and outside. And look, man, we talked about Brian Hartline. We've said what Ohio State does to develop wide receivers, but I think every Sunday is an infomercial for Ohio State when it comes to their wideouts. Like in this game in particular, if I'm a recruit and I'm looking at how they're having success, why wouldn't I go to Ohio State? Because they appear to be next level ready when they step in. And Ibuka and JSN are prime examples of that.
They're down 35-28 with 3 minutes to go. And Baker takes them on a 5-play, 70-yard drive with a touchdown to Shepard. And on the touchdown throw, he's looking for Ibuka, and they double him. They bracket him pretty good. He takes a peek. He looks to the right. It's not there. And then Baker does what he's been doing now. Like his ability, it's not frenetic. There is some sort of like movement, but how he moves and how he escapes, it's different really than anybody else. He escapes to his left and he takes a shot to Shepard. Like, I don't even know if he's open, but he threw him open. Like, and he's getting chased pretty good on the play. Like, it was just an amazing, like, that guy is a candidate to be the MVP of this league, right? It's 5 weeks. I get it. But the way that guy's playing with as shorthanded as they've been on the offense line, at receivers, you name it. And for them to be where they are, like he just keeps getting better.
All right. I'm going to see if I can pull this up because I wanted to go back through his report because we're talking about these guys. And I'll get to Darnold here in a second because it's interesting. I think these guys have kind of ended up where we hoped they would end up. Mayfield, unique setup. He's frenetic, which speaks to a little bit what you're talking about, Baldy, but he's consistently accurate despite throwing from a variety of platforms and arm angles, generates a ton of torque from his lower body. You need to see him play in person to fully appreciate the way the ball jumps out of his hand.
I agree.
His offensive line did a nice job keeping it clean, but when pressured, he showed the ability to extend plays while keeping his eyes down the field. He's accurate on the move. And while he lacks top speed, he's very effective on designed QB runs. The biggest challenge coming out of that offense involves the lack of tight window throws he's had to make. It will take some time for him to adjust to the lack of space at the next level. There are some questions about some maturity stuff off the field. Long story short, Mayfield might lack ideal size, but I love his accuracy, playmaking skills, and toughness. He has the tools to be a quality starter early in his career. So that's kind of where he is, which I want to get to Sam because I'll read you Sam.
Yeah. And
then we'll see, if this sounds like this is kind of where he's landed on as he's really.
Well, as you pull that up, he threw the interception to Levante and they ran that weak side overload with Winfield coming free to get to Sam. But they ran that blitz 6 times against the Jets. They got home every single time. It was either Winfield or Powers was coming. And Todd will get a free hitter to your quarterback, man. It's going to happen. And he just happened in the biggest moment of the game there in the final minute, 58 seconds to go.
And no doubt. Here is the Sam thing. Thick, sturdy frame, operating the shotgun, quick feet, throws from a wide base, has a long, loopy throwing motion, but it's actually quick and explosive. He's shown the ability to tighten up its times. He has very quick eyes to work through progressions and throws with an excellent anticipation. He can change ball speed and ball flight, has enough velocity to fit balls in tight windows. Once he improves his weight transfer, you'll see an uptick in accuracy and velocity. He's a nifty athlete capable of escaping free rushers and creating explosives down the field. Very competitive runner, will fight for yards. Biggest issue has been a fumble issue that he's had. I need to do a better job keeping both hands on the ball in the pocket and covering the ball up once he takes off. Overall, Darnold has some areas to clean up, but I love his size, competitiveness, and ability to make plays on and off schedule. Yeah. But both these guys are playing great ball, man. Look at the numbers in this game. There weren't any incompletions. Baker was 29 for 33. And Sam was 28 for 34. Baker 379, Sam 341. They combined for 6 touchdowns and 1 pick. And then the JSN stuff, just to kind of put a bow on this whole thing. He's living outside, man. I thought he was going to be an unbelievable slot receiver. He has turned into one of the best outside receivers in the NFL. He is plenty capable out there. He wins and slants Buck in such a variety of ways where you'll see one-step slants and you'll see him win. You'll see guys off of him, and he has that kind of A.J. Brown, like he'll give him a full 2-hand shove, if they're going to squat on him, and it creates that separation there. Then he also can weave and stem guys up and get them off balance and cross their face. But he has become an unbelievably effective slant route runner. And then when he's working in the middle of the field, running through zones, he's got such a feel for tempo. How many times you see guys just run to get covered? Like, he's got a really good feel. I mean, I think that's the thing. These guys have been trained and taught very well by Heartline, to your point, Buck. But I think both these players are so naturally instinctive and have just a great feel for the game.
Yeah, no, they're really talented, man. They do a great job, and their versatility is everything. And to me, when you're a number one or an aspiring number one, the more tools that you have in your toolbox to allow your offensive coordinator to move you around, to get away from some of the tactics and double coverage and brackets and those things, you just need to have that in your arsenal. And so I just feel like both of these guys are well equipped to always be impact players, because you can do so many different things with them as young players that you can only imagine as their knowledge base grows, what you're going to be able to do when they're year 5, 6, 7 in the league.
All right, guys, that was a weird one at SoFi yesterday. I mean, the Chargers are up 10-0. They're driving. Big completion to Quentin Johnson. You think it's going to be 17-0, and it's going to be kind of a laugher. And then Quentin Johnson fumbles, and then that just changed the momentum of this game. But it was a game, Baldy, where the Commanders got stronger as the game went along. The Chargers, for the second week in a row, a ton of penalties, double-digit penalties, some costly penalties, including a touchdown that was called back on a punt return. But, man, I don't know how you go anywhere else than what that backfield looks like now at Washington. It's pretty exciting, man.
Well, that Bill Krosky merit. I mean, this story it has to, continue to blow up. But we saw there was a reason why, they traded Brian Robinson at the start of the season. Like, they saw this guy's ability. And the story is just an amazing story. He didn't play last year, all the stuff that we kind of talked about. But his put that foot in the ground quickness and the way that they are running the ball right now, using a variety of formations.
Those tight ends are freaking leading up in there, man.
Like, that number 87 is as good a blocking tight end as there is right now in the league, and they run behind him a bunch. And so it's always been Cliff's mantra, honestly, even when he was at Texas Tech, and even go back to A&M, like, spread them out and figure out ways to open up the lanes, and we're gonna hit them quick. And he's got every run in the book, and it can be from unbalanced formations. It can be from power formations in the backfield. It can be, out of the shotgun. It can be using the quarterback as a decoy. I mean, he's got every variety of run that there is right now.
Buck, they flipped on one play, the quarterback and the running back, and then Merritt, Big Bad Bill, runs freaking wildcat like a zone read and gets right up into the hole. Like, I mean, it was just it was very creative, and it wasn't just Bates, who's an unbelievable blocker. Sennett did a nice job as well, 82. Both those tight ends leading up into the hole, so they were creative, they were physical, and they kind of, look, when you're looking at that team and you're sitting there going, okay, man, I looked at them on tape, watching them. I'm like, the secondary's giving up more big plays than anybody in football. I don't know that they're all that dynamic in their defensive front. And then all of a sudden you get a healthy Jaden Daniels back in there, and Mario did a nice job, but he's a different caliber guy. And it brings quarterbacks like that, and you've talked about it before, it just brings hope and it brings energy to the whole club.
brings energy. It was a homecoming for Jaden Daniels coming back, played at El Cajon High School. So this was an opportunity for all of his people to see him, and you knew he was going to put on a show. And I would say the thing that is really impressive, not only about him, but about the Commanders team is, man, they go as he goes. And he's the drumbeat, but he has a calm demeanor about himself where the game doesn't get too high or out of sorts. And DJ, the thing that you said that stood out on tape was their overall physicality. Like, it's funny because Cliff Kingsbury gets the rap of being the air raid wizard. They want to throw it all over the yard, but at the heart of hearts, like, they run the football, and Dan Quinn is working, and Joe Witt Jr., they're working to get this defense on track. And when you look at the landscape, you look at the NFC East and how tight it was and how they made ground, they stumbled out the gate. But the last few weeks, we've seen this team kind of be the team that many of us expected. And so they're in the hunt. And as long as they have that quarterback healthy, they have a chance because they can go knock off anybody.
TJ, I saw Von Miller had a couple more sacks.
Yeah.
Like, is he like the official closer right now? Does he still have Von Miller type, like getting his hands on guys and just figuring out how to, either bend or come off a twist or whatever? I haven't watched it yet, so I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, he's still got the long arm, and so he can dust that off. And then the Chargers, Pipkins goes down, so you got your fourth and fifth tackles out there.
Yep.
Yeah, it was. Sure. You got no chance. But so you got overset issues, and they had some wins inside of those tackles. So it was a tough one for Herbert from that standpoint. But I was thinking of it like, I know nothing about music. I've never had a music lesson. I've never played an instrument at all. But I have this image of, like, if you're Cliff Kingsbury, is you're a drummer, and the cymbal is Deebo Samuel, because you're just kind of hitting the drums, and it's like, oh yeah, let's just get a little quick screen to Deebo. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, let's get a little quick screen to Deebo. That's 7 to 10 yards anytime you want it. Anytime you want to hit that little cymbal and just shoot the ball out there to Deebo Samuel, by the time you get him on the ground, it's 7 or 8 yards.
Do you think on Cliff's play sheet he just has Deebo plays? Like, there's just 10 plays right there. Then he can, 2nd and 7. Okay, let's go get the first down. Like, it could be that simple right now.
And the other thing is, on those over routes, like, a lot of times you think about over routes, you think about, okay, it's just pure speed. You're just trying to get from A to B as fast as you can. He is so good. I've never seen somebody so strong without using their hands, where he'll just get up to the defender, Buck, and it's just like a little shoulder, and he's just so big and strong. And it just kicks that corner off his path for 2 or 3 yards. And Deebo's not the fastest guy in the world, but that little nudge that he gives on those things, it's enough separation he needs to get across the field and make plays.
Man, he's the embodiment of why, some teams prefer to have guys with punt return skills in the background out wide. And when you see him and you think about his body build and how thick he is, DJ, the challenge that he poses to DBs is trying to get him down in space, because he's a physical runner. He has big size, big legs. He runs through arm tackles. And so you got to front him up to get him down. And the more they give him the ball on those short screens or whatever, the better he gets. When they get it all together, McLaurin and Deebo and Bill, and they kind of figure out what's the best combination to maximize everybody, offense is going to be more explosive than we could ever imagine. This is a really good team, a well-constructed team. And look, the best is still yet to come for them as they're still turning over their roster.
From your guys' playing career, Baldy Buck, is there any historical comp for Deebo? Just kind of how he plays? I know Sterling was so much faster.
So that's the only one I can think of.
They didn't use Sterling. They didn't use him like that, but they could have used him like that.
Yeah, I just couldn't.
But I just think, sometimes, like, I think Deebo, he didn't wear out his welcome. They just didn't use him. They outside of putting him at the tailback position when they were shorthanded, they didn't use him, I think, the way Cliff is using him. I think it's just a perfect blend. The analogy with the symbol is pretty good there, DJ. I just feel like they just know how to use him, and use his strengths. And it's like it's a great fit early this season.
Yeah, they call it the cans. What else? Or that's the actual drum. I don't know. I don't know the music lingo. But I just got my image. Maybe it's from Chuck E. Cheese as a little kid with that little mouse just hitting the things and then hitting that little symbol.
You can do it all.
Yeah. All right. We don't need to spend long on these next few here, but I wanted to hit a couple things here. Houston, Baltimore, and I could go easily into the Baltimore bad, but I'm going to start Houston good. Stroud 23 of 27, and I know Baltimore's missing everybody, but they needed a game like that from him. 244 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. It was interesting to watch the tape. When they were in pocket Everything was in rhythm. There was some play action. The ball was gone. Like they were not going to let this offensive line, be a stumbling block for him. So it was in the pocket, get the ball out quick, which obviously you're not going to be able to get the ball vertical. When they wanted to take their shots down the field, it was boots and they were moving the pocket. So, hey, we want to be able to attack vertically, but we're not going to do that as a stationary target in the pocket behind an offensive line that's a little suspect. So we're going to go ahead and get him on the move when we want to push the ball vertical. I thought it was a pretty good game plan from them that he executed really well. And then Jalen Petrie had 2 picks, who's been a good player in this league since he came out of Baylor. He's kind of Johnny on the spot, always around the football.
The 1-2 punch of Chubb and Woody Marks is pretty strong. I mean, that's the best offensive line play. I know they changed coordinators. Ariante's over at left tackle. I've seen him both sides right now, but that was the best the line played. In the running game, I thought they had a good 1-2 punch in the run game yesterday. And then, Nico's Nico. Baltimore had no idea what to do with him. I mean, it was one good throw after another. But, Hutchinson came up pretty big. Is it Xavier Hutchinson?
Yep, Iowa State.
Iowa State, yeah. Like I thought all the, they got a whole bunch of Iowa State receivers. I think all those guys, had good contributions yesterday.
Buck, how about the Baltimore side? You want to be the bad guy?
Yeah, look, man, it's bad. DJ is bad. Now, I know they had 7 quote-unquote Pro Bowlers that were sitting out, but still, man, it's not supposed to fall this far off. And before I even talk about the lack of talent in terms of like that being off the field, to me, this is the first time in a long time that I've seen the Baltimore Ravens without their swag and their identity. They are a swaggerless team. This is a team that has always been able to lean into, look, we may be shorthanded, but we can beat you up. We can make it a brawl and those things. And right now they don't have the confidence. And part of the reason they don't have the confidence, because the first time in a long time, their defense is the weak link. They're bad on defense. I mean, and they're bad on the fundamental things, tackling, pursuit angles, alignment, basic stuff. Never seen the Ravens like this. And I know, and never advocate for people losing jobs or whatever. And I know John Harbaugh threw his full support behind Zach Orr. And I know they have other guys, but DJ, the clock is ticking. 1-4 for a team that is as talented as they come. They have to fix this defense in a hurry. They got a week, then a bye week. But man, change has to come and has to come right now.
Yeah, it's bad. And Kyle Van Noy, his quote, which Gav put in the chat here, no excuses. I just watched the Niners have injuries, go out there and play football as professionals. You get paid to play, so we have to go play better. We have to get our S together. Just being brutally honest, coaches can give us the plays, but we have to execute, and it doesn't matter who you are in there. Do your job. Coaches ask you to do something, do it, myself included. So, yeah, they realize that it's not good enough the way they've played. I can't recall. I can't recall because there never has been a Baltimore defense like this.
Ever.
Played this bad.
Ever.
Bad. Baldy, Detroit, Cincinnati. You were there. What'd you see?
Yesterday, Detroit was rolling out a alumni of the University of British Columbia. You've been up there to recruit? Or
no, tape only. Tape only.
Okay, so, they've got 2 starting tackles in this league right now. All right. Yesterday, this Giovanni Manu made his first NFL start. He's a second-year player from British Columbia. The kid Theo Benedict in Chicago is starting at left tackle. So I talked to Hank Fraley. So Hank was kind of like, he's going up against a good player today, Ball. We'll find out what he's all about. But, they let him go against, Trey Hendrickson. And Trey made a couple of plays out there. He definitely got a forced fumble and made some plays. But the kid, first of all, when you see the kid, he's 6'7", he's long arms, he's got a shaved head, like he looks the part, and then you go, okay, there's Penny Sewell, and there's the mullet on Ratledge right here. Like they've got this thing together up front. And so it doesn't matter if Montgomery's running or if he's throwing it or if it's Jahmyr Gibbs, like they've got a formula right now. And every week it seems like Johnny Morton's got a guy that's going to kind of be the – so yesterday, the tight end had a big day. And it was crossing route. They hit these crossing routes to him and to Amon-Ra St. Brown. And honestly, it looks like a Friday afternoon walkthrough. Like basically Goff doesn't get hit. He stands there on the posted stand 5 yards and he just carves them up. And it was pretty impressive. They were really shorthanded in the secondary on defense, but the quarterback was so bad that even with Jamar Chase and T, I thought they could take advantage of it out there, and they just, He was just so bad. I don't know what he was doing. It was really rough to watch. They can't run the ball at all. They're last in offense. They made a couple plays in the fourth quarter to try to stay in the game a little bit, but it was hard to watch, man. That was a beatdown pretty good.
Joe Burrow might get MVP votes, Buck.
He should get MVP votes based on how they look without him. They're just a bad football team, and it's funny, right? Because I'm there when Joe Burrow gets hurt. Jake Browning comes in the second half, he gets hot. And then the world got the tape and was like, okay, we're going to cut that off. And now what? And they haven't been able to do anything. And I have seen Jake Browning at his best a couple of years ago when he stepped in and kind of had them in contention for a playoff spot. But he's been bad. And it's criminal in terms of the wasted talent that they have on the perimeter when you don't have anybody who can get them the ball.
But here's
that's the biggest thing.
I think one of the issues, Buck, and why Jake Browning, isn't playing worth a darn is they look like they're running the same offense that Joe Burrow runs.
Yes.
And Joe just goes through progressions like nobody else in his business. So he can take a peek at tomorrow. Okay, they got him bracketed. Okay, I'm coming over to the other side. Like Jake can't play like that. So I don't see some of the creativity, DJ, that we see in this league to get guys loose, to shake them loose, where it's like what they're doing in Indianapolis for, Daniel Jones right now. Like they're not doing those kind of things to get T the ball or to get Jamar the ball. And, it's not. Look, it's an indictment on Browning. He's not good enough, but don't ask Browning to beat Joe Burrow out there and play quarterback.
Yeah, well, Joe Burrow is the best whack-a-mole player in the NFL. I mean, like if he sees the entire board and is able to react to it unlike anybody else. So there's not just a Browning thing. I don't know many quarterbacks that could play the way that Burrow plays. I want to go back over to Goff real quick. I wrote this down. Like, you're watching guys in at different positions and you're sitting there going, if I had a high school quarterback and I wanted to have somebody with teaching tape, I don't know anybody thinks that Goff might be the one that I would pick because I've always been taught, it's almost like the John Wooden thing, be quick, but not in a hurry. You want to have quick feet, but you don't want to be, too frazzled or too frenetic or too busy. Mm-hmm. He has got really, really quick feet, but everything he does is so smooth and fluid and easy. And part of that I get is because the offensive line is so good and they afford him clean pockets, but he throws from a firm platform. Everything is textbook about what he does. They did a ton of stuff in this game where they pair up the tight ends on the same side, and they had, like think about creativity and some of the stuff they did. That was a effective way for them. But I just thought, man, this is the best, quick, smooth, fluid, quarterback. When I was growing up and I was young, but I used to always, and when I just started playing in college, like they would always show us stuff of Montana. That was the guy. He was like, okay, he's not the biggest guy to have the strongest arm or anything. Yeah. Well, look how fluid and smooth he is. Just be as smooth and fluid. We used to talk about even like kind of rocking the ball on your drop, like kind of from shoulder to shoulder and just kind of allowing yourself to get a nice little smooth rhythm to it. And Goff plays that way. So he was, again, 4 incompletions. There's a lot of games where quarterbacks just didn't throw incompletions. He only had 4 incompletions and 3 touchdowns. So he was great.
Up almost 40 points a game. These last
easy.
Yeah.
Easy. And they took the foot off their gas in the fourth quarter.
Let me say this because I might have been the biggest skeptic when it came to John Morton and David Shaw and all these guys taking over for Ben Johnson. All of the physical and fun stuff that Ben Johnson has done. They've been able to continue to do some of that while finding their identity. And listen to Amon-Ra St. Brown talk to David Montgomery on a podcast, and they were talking about the differences between Ben Johnson and Johnny Moe and how Johnny Moe is direct and he's a little different when it comes to the edginess of his presentations. But they've retained some of this fun stuff, and they still have the physicality and toughness. The Wildcat play down at the goal line, Montgomery doing the jump pass. They still have some of that stuff. Yeah. I just give John Morton a lot of credit because I think he stepped into some big shoes to replace because you had an expectation of what this offense has been. It's hard to keep the points up, the physicality up, mix in some fun plays and do all that. But he's found a way to do it within his own personality. So hats off to him for being able to take that over and do it.
Well, they're putting up 40, and really Jameson Williams has been very quiet the last 2 weeks. And so, once they get him going and his speed, it's I don't know if anybody can slow him down right now.
Have they told you, Baldy, how much they're giving Goff? It feels like he's got maybe a little more control in this environment than maybe he's had.
I just talked to him briefly on the field before the game. He takes his warm up pretty serious. So, you don't want to interrupt too much of that. But he just has the level of focus, going on the road in Cincinnati. The crowd was all there. Like, just the focus that he plays with. Like, he just blocks all that stuff out. And he sees the field so good. He had Laporta early in that game so many times. Like, they had no answer for some of the stuff they were doing.
No. And on the defensive side of the ball, 5 quarterback hits for Aiden Hutchinson. He's got 5 sacks this year. I went back and watched all of his sacks. He's winning all the ways, man. Power.
You would have safety yesterday, DJ, if it wasn't for illegal contact on Terry and Arnold. But he had a safety, to add to that resume right now.
It was impressive. And, the burst is still there when he can escape and close. There's some change of direction stuff. Like, he worked out a spin in a previous game where he's not quite as fluid coming off that injury, which I'm sure that's going to come. But speed, power, his hands are awesome. Like, he looks like he's back. And you kind of, you don't want to look in the rearview mirror. What if he doesn't get hurt last year? What does that mean for that Detroit team?
Well, I talked to Zeus before the game, and he never played him before, but he knew that, we're talking about max effort. He makes more plays on the other side of the field than any defensive end in this league right now. Like, his effort is just,
he's got Jared Allen traits to him. That's who he reminded me of when he was coming out. Not just doing the white on white edge rusher comparison there, but that just the effort. Like, Jared Allen never stopped.
Yeah,
he doesn't stop.
That's Aiden.
All right, let's last one here, and then we'll be on. Let Baldy get on his way here. Giants, Saints. Hey, the Saints won a game. Spencer Rattler won a game, Baldy.
Yeah, no, I mean, and he has been playing pretty well, but I got to, they hit the big shot to Rashid Shaheed, which really kind of opened things up. They got the turnovers, but he's been playing well. Like, they had Buffalo 21-16 in the fourth quarter. They were driving last week, and they let it get away from them. They had Arizona like right down to the wire. They've been playing pretty good. Kellen Moore's he's a good coordinator. He just knows how to run offense. They got a good 1-2 punch with Kendre Miller, and and Kamara can still do it. They had a rookie right guard, that never played before in there, and the Giants didn't take advantage of it. In fact, Spencer Rattler, I don't think he got sacked in the game. I don't even know if he got hit. So he looked good. He took off and he ran a couple times, but he hit the big shot when it was there to Shaheed. He's their deep threat. I thought he played really well.
He's got a live arm, man. Just going back through that, he has got he actually does. I know it's not just the Oklahoma thing, but the ball comes out similar to Baker. Like, ball jumps out of his hand when he's driving the ball outside the numbers. Not a big guy, but he's got a loose live arm, Buck.
Look, it's something to watch these two teams, right? Because you're thinking the Giants are about to get it going. Jackson Dart comes in. The first drive that he had looked terrific. And then just the turnovers. Like, I think they had 5 drives in a row that just were debacles. And you just can't have those kinds of things when you're a team that can't overwhelm people. And I just look at the Giants and I just think like I like the fun stuff that they're doing. I like how they're trying to maximize it, but he has to value the ball. And then sometimes Dayball has to kind of help him by calling things that don't put him in a situation where he is exposed, where he can't turn the ball over.
Man, no Malik Neighbors sucks, man. You're hoping to really get a chance to watch this young quarterback grow and develop when you lose your big-time weapon. So,
can I say this? Because Baldy, did you see Cam Scatterboo on that lead block? I know they lost, but holy smokes, in terms of just like
soul snatcher,
up under. And just
he mauls people, Bucky. He mauls people and blocks people, man. He gets all up in the grill. It looks like MMA stuff in the octagon, man. Like the way that he takes people down.
Yeah, he did it. He did it on the draw last week, so he's done it a couple weeks in a row here. But hey, congrats to Kellen Moore. He's a great dude. He is a very good coach, and I just didn't think they'd have enough players to be competitive, and they've been competitive, as you mentioned, and they got themselves a win here. So congrats to them. Also love kind of doing a lot more RPO stuff with Rattler too. He's very comfortable with all that. So. Hey, Dylan Gabriel, real quick, had a good. I know they didn't win the game, but he was good. He was efficient. I think. Hey. There's nothing I saw there that would say I'm looking anywhere else. I'm gonna roll with him until.
Well, you look at that. You look at the first touchdown to Fannin. There's Fannin. There's Quinshawn Junkins. There's Dylan. I mean, they got the rookies all out there.
Yep.
It's Dylan Sampson's playing. James Washington leads the team in tackles every week. Mason Graham's been really good. I mean, look, they're in a rebuild mode, but I thought he got rid of the ball quickly, accurately. He had him in contention right to the very end.
Yeah, no, good stuff there from Dylan Gabriel. And we'll see how the rest of those rookies play the rest of the year. Again, they've got they'll be watching the Jags game tonight, Buck. Cleveland, intently paying attention to your Jags.
Of course,
with their Chiefs hats on.
I know. Like, hopefully the Jags don't give them anything to be excited about.
They got a couple picks here in the first round next year, so it could be exciting days ahead here for Cleveland. Baldy, appreciate your time on Mondays. Everybody loves these things, man. They're great.
All right, guys.
Appreciate everybody listening. We'll see you next time right here on Move the Sticks.